Woo! Well, listen, y'all, we literally just got finished watching episode 5
Yes.
of The Wheel of Time.
First of all, before we get into that, so we do know we had episode 4 last week, right? We didn't film because our boy was celebrating a birthday. So if y'all in the comments, please wish LeBrandon a happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. But we wanted to make sure that we came to you not only with episode 5, but we're also going to talk about 4 too.
So this is the latest episode of We Have to Talk About It.
Yes.
All right, so I guess to kick things off, I mean, Gianni, what did you think about episode 4?
So I'm not going to hold y'all. I was quite confused when I finished episode 4. We talked about it briefly on the phone, but I actually had to go back and rewatch the episode because I think there was so much that was happening in the episode. I just was confused.
All I know is the people went to Rhuidean, and Rhuidean has some glass hollows, and it has some rings.
The rings and the tree.
And the tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, from that standpoint, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I feel like for a long time, the show has not really focused that much on Rand.
Right.
And I think this was like his episode.
Yeah. This I was telling LeBrandon, I feel like this gave me a greater appreciation for Rand's character.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we got a lot of background, not only for him, but his ancestry, obviously. And I think that kind of informed us the importance of his role as the Dragon Reborn.
For sure.
But yeah, I told Brandon, look, at one point, something was happening while I looked up, Moiraine was getting her throat slit 12,000 times. I was like, hold on.
I think it's something. For me, what was so confusing is like, they introduced all of these new Aiel characters that I'm like, wait, who's this and what's their name? And why does it seem like they kind of have these, but they are honoring the traditions and they're okay? It was not, for me, as someone that hasn't read the books, I feel like this was probably the episode that was the hardest to follow, but at the same time, I felt like it was probably the most important in terms of giving backstory and context.
Yeah, especially with what we learned about Lanfear. Like, even, I guess, that moment when they were in, like, that floating thing, like, understanding the origin of, like, the Dark One's influence on the world and where the Forsaken came, like, I guess that was super important because we didn't really know that, well, as non-book readers, we didn't really know that before. So it was a very important episode, but like you said, I think just super hard to follow.
It was hard to follow for us.
Yeah.
I mean, the other part that I think was kind of cool was seeing like how Rhuidean was created.
Yeah.
And that there was an Aes Sedai that created like the city, and she, used the one power to add the fog. Through that sangria.
Yeah.
And they hid it in the little tree. And to see how that tree grew up over time was kind of...
She was so powerful. And I liked her look too.
Yes.
Her character reminded me of like characters that like Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
I love Tilda.
Yeah.
It just like the air that she gave, I really enjoyed her. I'm like,
And so for me, I mean, that's about all I got for episode. I'm not gonna hold you. It was good. It was a good episode, but for me, it was a little confusing at times.
And I guess the thing too, I mean, because really I feel like the whole episode was that, but they were in there for, was it 5 days or a week, 5 days
or 2 weeks or something?
It was a long time. It was a while. Yeah. And because I remember there was one scene where Egwene and Lan were sitting and they were like, it's been 5 days or whatever. So I do get that, the whole, like, they couldn't really just skim past it because there was a long time that they spent in there, right? So it's good that they dedicated an episode to it. Now, I will say, Moiraine, when she came out, that's how I was looking at the end of the episode, like,
very long.
Lost in defeat.
I will say I did think it was interesting that I think going into Rhuidean, I feel like Rand has started to mistrust Moiraine.
Yeah.
We saw him kind of rebelling, and we saw him tell her, "You don't tell me what to do."
Yeah.
Kind of, By the time they got through the city,
and he waited on her.
He waited on her
because he was done before she was.
Exactly.
And I think when what's the Aiel?
Aviendha.
Yeah. Look, here we go with
the name.
Aviendha.
Yeah.
She was finished, and she was like, "You gonna sit it?"
And she said, "I'll see you back at the camp."
Mm-hmm. And he sat down. He sat under the tree, and he waited for Moiraine. So I think that and again, that made me respect his character even more.
For sure.
That was a really important episode for him.
I came out of episode 4 a little bit more of a Rand fan.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. My girl was through though. Moiraine said, baby, this was how she was getting carried out. Oh Lord,
right? Them Rays took out.
They took out. She got handled. But yeah, I mean, I will say that it was a really well. I like how they shot. Even
it was beautiful.
It was beautifully shot. So the rings themselves actually look really cool, but the way that they kind of disoriented the footage to make it look like she was just going through loops and loops of vision, I think that the way that they shot it was amazing.
That was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't really remember anything else.
I think that was kind of like the gist of it,
Yeah.
right? Those really it.
Yeah. The other thing that was kind of interesting to me is that they decided, and I guess it made sense because he experienced his ancestors living through those moments, that they used him as the actor.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I did think that was neat.
Yeah. I thought and at one point I kind of was confused because I was like, wait, is he just rebirth, like reborn? But no, like they allowed him to be his ancestors, which I think that was a cool way to, to showcase that. So
okay, so episode 4, you were a serious girl, and we're very unserious of watching it. So that's not all I got for you.
Yeah, no, for real. Now, episode 5.
No, that was more like it.
They're reading the episode 1's nacho.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about in episode 5. I honestly don't really know where to begin.
No, I know. So this episode began with, what did we start off with?
Now, the beginning of the episode is with Moiraine. She's practicing with the Sangreal. She's trying to, I guess, learn how to wield it or use it. And we kind of see that it's a powerful tool, but she hadn't quite mastered how to wield it just yet.
Yeah. I think that that's really interesting too, because LaBrandon had to remind me, I didn't realize I knew that she had it in her, but I didn't realize she took it. So I think that, I'm not really sure if she's trying to use it as like, extra power for the visions, because clearly in the visions that she saw, the potential futures, she needs some power somewhere, right? Miss Lanfear was letting our girl have it. So I think that it's really interesting to see how she utilizes this, for whatever is to come. But at the same time, through the episode, we see that she's kind of made peace with the realization that, I might not be making it much further.
That she won't be making it.
Yeah, she won't be. Yeah.
She said in all of the visions she saw for Rand to be successful, she will not make it to the last battle.
Yeah, and then vice versa. If she makes it, then he has to, and clearly we see that he needs to make it. So,
right.
Yeah. That was interesting. Now, our girl Alanna.
Oh yeah, we did get to catch up with Alanna, Nynaeve, and Matt.
So because again, the episode 4, we didn't really get to see anything else that was happening beyond, Rhuidean. So now we get to catch up with all of the other cast, and our girl Alanna and Maksim, I don't know. They on the rocks. Now, at the beginning, they had a little quarrel, right?
And I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about Elaine.
Oh, no.
You're talking about Alanna. So you're back at the Two Rivers.
Yeah, so we got the Two Rivers, yeah. So we had a little issue with Alanna and Maksim. They still kind of at odds in.
They're grieving and they're taking it out on each other. Basically.
Yeah. But And I did not like the fact that she, I mean, and I get it. I get that she is being very practical about the situation, but she called our boy weak, and he had to kind of step back. He had to step back in to show her, like, hey,
She said that he wasn't enough. But then by the end of the episode,
he was enough.
he was everything.
He was more than enough.
Because if it wasn't for him, I don't think Miss Mamas would have made it into the next episode.
No, she would not have.
The White Cloaks had her surrounded, and she couldn't do nothing about it.
Trouble on every side.
But you know, I find that so interesting because when I think of Alanna, I just think about how powerful she is, and how in episode 1 we saw her take on like 5 or 6 of the Black Aja with her 2 warders, and them initially like being really successful for that. And then it's so interesting to me that, you know, these white cloaks that don't have anything other than strategy and arrows were able to basically surround her and know that she would be focused over here. And while she's focused over here, we're gonna hit her from the back. And then when she focused from the back, we're gonna hit her from the side. And then so they have her on her knees, essentially about ready to capture her. But it was interesting when she goes, how did you know? And he was like, nigga,
Bowling went on 5 arrows.
As quick as you turned it off, when that 5th arrow hit you, baby, you took it right back off.
Well, and I'm glad too, because I feel like they gave some, I'm not gonna say they were diminishing his character. I felt like one of them actually was gonna die.
I thought Alanna might not make it.
Yeah. Or when he was saying he was gonna go after Leanne, I was like,
good luck with that.
So I'm glad, because I feel like that gave a lot more strength to his character. It showed us like, oh, she said that he wasn't enough, but he was like, okay, yeah, I can take all of these.
And I think moving forward, we're gonna see that they're gonna rebound and they're gonna reconnect and they're gonna be back at it again.
I can appreciate that, because I did not want something to happen to her so early. I feel like she's a very important character. Like, we need her strength later on. So I'm glad that we had this little moment to kind of read.
But she was right about why she came to the 2 rivers.
Yes.
And we saw that when the White Cloak had captured, is it Matt's mom and sisters? When the mom tried to take the knife, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone was able to channel and knock him back, which we think is one of the sisters. One of the sisters. She's right. Like, the 2 rivers have produced some of the most powerful people, and so
we need to be recruiting.
That's why.
That's a good starting point.
That's why. And so I think we're going to see them, Alanna and Maksim, we're going to see them on the same page moving forward, and, you know, in the light that we like to see them in, which is from their place of strength.
Absolutely.
But do you think they're going to take on a new lover? I mean, they did kind of foreshadow the one guy. And she was like, I see you've had your eye on such and such. So maybe, you know, truly, maybe they're going to have a new trio going on.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it. Now, I don't think anybody's going to replace Avon.
No, for sure.
But I can see that, like, just as a way to kind of help him get past it and move on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, our girl, Elida.
Who? Elida. Okay, so I wasn't sure about Elida.
Me either.
I kind of felt like she may have been working for the dark.
Yeah.
But we kind of got her. We got clarity on that.
Yeah. We definitely did.
Last episode, we had a really good laugh about the shade that gets thrown between the red and the blue. So in this episode, we also find out that Swen was Blue Aja initially before she became the Emerald Sea. And so again, we see another back and forth, another shade of Venice. And Swen's chambers.
Ooh, because call the girl filthy.
Well, first, Swen thought she was doing something. She smelled her before she came. She said, "Your scent precedes you."
Came in before you did.
She put up that love letter real quick as soon as she smelled her.
She did. But the one thing about Elida, she is very quick with her,
very quick
and to the point. And I'm still trying to figure out, because I felt bad for her a little bit when she was trying to get the information from the girl in the I guess in the
The
prison.
13th depository.
Yes. When she was trying to get that information, I'm like, yeah, finally somebody that's coming in here and that's not playing with these girls. Like,
And doing what needs to be done. She said, I am not suing.
yeah,
You will feel pain.
yeah.
Until you tell me.
Give me the names, yeah.
And she was about to crack until that gray man came out.
I know. Now, is it still Mogideon sending these gray men?
That's what I assume, but who knows, right?
Well, I'm really trying to figure that out because they suggested that somebody said it. Who did they say?
I don't remember who they
They
said.
suggested something, but I'm like, I thought Mogideon was the one that was sending it.
She's the only one that we've seen make creating Gray Man. So you would think, but what does she have to do with the Black Aja?
Right.
That's the part that's confusing to me. Maybe
those guys
y'all can help us in the comments figure out where these Gray Men may be coming from outside of Mogideon.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like she's necessarily. We know she's infiltrated the Black Aja, but they don't know who she is.
Right.
She's just posing as a servant.
Right. Yeah. And what's the correlation? And then the timing.
The timing's very interesting. You know who I'm starting to look at a little crazy?
Who?
Verin. And her sister, what's her sister name? Alatus or something like that?
Yeah.
Because Verin popped up when the last Gray Man was there.
Yep. And Verin was a part of this leading to
And so the fact that she was and Verin was able to, she knew that our friend, when they were in that secret chamber what all the Sangreal was, she knew that girl was about to attack,
and she
was able to block it for herself. So I'm like, Verin, girl, I don't know about you. I'm not convinced that you're not the Black Aja that remains.
And especially because she is in the mix of trying to find, like, that's like the easiest way to stay kind of
exactly
unearthed, if that makes sense. Because if you're a part of the search committee, nobody's looking at you,
right? I'm Verin. I like you, but
you might have clocked that.
I don't trust you.
You might have clocked that.
I don't trust you.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's skip over to Nynaeve, Elaine, and Matt. And men. She said, I'm on here too.
Okay, so one thing about Matt is gonna do what he wanna do.
Every single time.
He is never gonna follow the rules.
Yeah. Every single time.
He's been stuck down there with them for 2 weeks. And Nynaeve has been throwing up.
I really see.
She is.
Now, the one observation that you made, and I think this is really, really good because this might be the thing that kind of carries us into Nynaeve's release, right? From this block. But, the big thing that I think that was a revelation for her, and I think for Elaine too, while she was dreaming about it. So the sailor, the women that were controlling or steering the ship, they are channelers. And before, it was thought that they were weak channelers or that they didn't have a strong connection to, the one power to be able to channel a great deal. But come to find out,
there's a specific name that they have for them, which is like a wind seer, I believe. And they're able to use the one power to expedite traveling across.
Yeah. Elaine was like, how we get here? We passing what she called it, the rock or something like some rock.
Yeah. Now, one thing about her, she's very smart.
She's very observant.
And very observant. So she knew something wasn't quite right. She's like, there's no way we should already be here. And so when they finally got the chance to go up there, they found out why those people were like, yeah, that's why you're supposed to stay in the room because you clock out.
You're not supposed to see this. You're not supposed to see
this. And she said it would be wise of you to forget it when you return to your white tower.
Absolutely. But I'm really grateful that the lady explained that to Nynaeve because I think that that'll be a way for her to really understand why she's so, what did she call her? She was like, her feet are planted in the mountains or something like that. She's so but obviously a thing about being on the sea is that you need to be very fluid and kind of like release that tension to the ocean, right?
I feel like they're about to help Nynaeve unlock and be able to access the one power.
I hope so.
Yeah. Finally.
No, for real. I hope so.
I mean, hopefully as early as the next episode.
No, for real.
I don't want it to take it to the last episode.
They're already on. They already got off the ship.
Oh, that's true.
So
yeah, that's true.
But maybe even just her depositing that seed, maybe there's something that will just kind of
unlock.
Yeah.
Well, because I can see them running into the Black Aviendha real quick in the next episode. Yeah. They're gonna figure out that they're in town, and I can see. I have a feeling that we're gonna see Leandrian again in the next episode.
Yeah, because we didn't get them at all.
No.
This episode, so that don't happen. We have not seen anything that Leandrian's doing for 2.
Exactly. So I think they're gonna have a quick run-in with the Black Aviendha, and maybe that's when Nynaeve will start to be able to lean into what she quickly caught on board and maybe channel.
That lady said, "Loosen them legs up, baby. You standing too tight. Loosen your legs up, sis." Yeah. And then I think it's interesting too. Like, I think Min is trying to be so. Like she's trying to. Well, she was trying to withhold the information from Matt, but we kept saying like it's like this girl keeps popping up. She keeps popping up. But I think I don't want to say she's trying to protect him, but she said she was trying to prevent.
She has a soft place in her heart for Matt.
I think she might.
I think they're gonna end up together somehow, some way. So I don't know how. I don't know how that works, but something about them, they're really connected. Since they've been prisoners, they were prisoners, and they broke out. I think they might have some kind of like future relationship.
I can see that. I can see that. She really cares for him a lot, and like for her to be going through so many efforts to make sure that vision does not come true. Yeah, she likes our boy a lot. Who else do we have? Oh, so we finally got to see our girl Egwene, baby. They showed her how to control her. What do they call it?
She's a dream walker.
What's the place?
Aran'Rhiod or something like that. Y'all are probably cackling at us right now. Look, tell
Aran'Rhiod.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Tell Aran'Rhiod.
Yeah. So we see our girl go to tell Aran'Rhiod, Dion, with the 2 wise ones. And she's able to pick up really quickly how to navigate the dream world.
One thing about Egwene, baby, she's strong, powerful, and talented. They don't give our girl no time to hone her talents. They throw her right into time. And guess what she does? She's a sink or swim girl.
Ace the 10.
And she on swim every single time.
Yeah. Moiraine said, "Hey, come on. We gotta go somewhere."
She said, "I have a message to deliver."
And you about to do.
And so after just a one lesson, Egwene is able to take them into Aran'Rhiod or the dream world. She drops Moiraine off where she needs to be. But then, and we're gonna come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Actually, hold on, no. Let's talk about Moiraine and Suin, and then let's go to Egwene.
So one thing that and this is with any show, I feel like anytime there's a moment of urgency, right? They will blatantly express that either I don't have much time, we need to be brief. But don't act it. They say it, but they don't act it, right?
And they immediately get into long, drawn-out pauses, conversations that aren't to the point.
And even the moment when Perrin was trying to say to the girls, it's just, why are your eyes? Get out this dang cave!
I think you need to be worried about getting rescued, not why his eyes are a different color.
You're asking him about his eyes while you're still sitting in the cave.
So what's really important? Yeah.
So same thing with Moiraine. You're delivering this message to Suen.
What did she say? I have two things
Yeah.
that I know for sure.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay, let's sound them off.
how quickly could you have told her what they were?
Yeah.
But no, that turns into like this long, drawn out encounter.
Yeah.
Where she does tell her the one thing.
Yeah.
About, and I think this is the one thing for me, I finally understand the relationship between Moiraine and Swen and what each of them, their purpose is.
Yeah.
Because Moiraine was like, I meant to prepare the dragon
and you were to prepare the tower
to receive him.
The dragon.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, I feel like I kind of knew that before, but I'm glad that they just said it.
Yeah.
And they just told us finally.
Yeah. I think us understanding what Suen's job was really kind of informs like the decisions that she's made with this tower. I know she's been like very discreet, with what's happening, but I mean, she's doing the job.
But like, and it also makes sense why Alanna is clocking her. And she's like, I'm about to hold a vote because we need to put him down and cage him as you failed to do.
Yeah.
And now we see why she didn't actually follow through with caging him when she had the chance.
Yeah, because she can't.
She's not supposed to.
Yeah, she can't. Yeah. But our girl took Moiraine where she needed to go, and she darted off.
And instead of letting her, she should have stayed with her. Girl, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to tell her what you need to tell her, and then we get to go back.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that,
she wanted to go sightsee. And it was cute. Everything was cute.
So pleasant.
We see Nynaeve with her daughter.
Yeah.
I guess that was the same girl from the Arches.
That's right.
Her daughter with Lan that she would have had, right? And then we skip over and we see Verin, and we see Elaine on the boat. She's a wind seer.
Right.
And who else did we see?
Oh, don't forget Elaine and Aviendha. Clock that. Because we know they had that little moment.
Yeah. But and I knew that
You said it. You said
it. As we were trying, I was like, you know what? And at first, the thing is, I was like, this is great because Egwene is in the dream world. We know that Lanfear was after our girl. So I was like, now Lanfear is busy right now. So I was like, we know that whatever Egwene's doing with Moiraine, at least she should be good because Lanfear is busy.
Right, because she almost took our girl out the first time she did a dream walk with the two wives.
And they told her, you are looking right. But instead of Egwene using this opportunity of safety, she gets to moving around and not our girl walks right to
thank you
the trap, the danger. So I literally was saying, as she was like going through her friend, I was like, you know what? She is going to go to Rand's dream, and there's going to be Lanfear.
And now she knows what's been going on the whole time.
I think it's interesting though that we see that at the end when she let out that yell, like she yelled, Lanfear saw her, but Rand didn't turn around. I mean, and then obviously it cut off, but I'm like,
But it was so messy.
That was very.
It was so messy how Lanfear saw her and was like, yeah.
Because she really could have, like, in that moment, she could have did something to just be. She said, hold on, I'll let you see something.
She said, oh, we have company. She said, oh, we're about to put on a show.
Yeah. I'm so weak. But see, and again, ignorance sometimes is really bliss. Because it's like, girl, why are you in these people's dreams?
And now I'm like, what is about to happen between Egwene and Rand?
Right.
Because she now knows he's been seeing Lanfear in the dream world.
Yeah.
And who knows how long.
And now I think that Egwene has put two and two together that that was not the girl from.
It was Lanfear.
It was Lanfear the whole time. And so to see, not only has Lanfear been tormenting her in her dreams, but you've been pleasing. You've been pleasing him in his dream.
Yeah, she about to be pissed. I think Egwene is going to be very upset.
Oh, absolutely.
I think I don't know how she's gonna express that.
Yeah.
But I think her and Rand are about to have a little rift.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And I'm curious what that's gonna do to their whole like unit that they're working in. Like, is Egwene gonna be able to put aside her personal feelings for like their greater good?
Yeah.
Or is what just happened gonna kind of disrupt the journey that they've all been taking together?
And the thing too that's to note is that they were saying in order for Rand to be able to do what he needs to do, that connection that all of them have, they were saying that they're gonna have to cut that. And so I know that at one point, was that?
Oh, that was Lanfear and Moiraine talking about how
to do it.
Wait, is this another Moiraine Lanfear collaboration? Because you know their first collaboration did get them to set out on the journey.
And obviously the fact that Egwene is doing this for me, but you know what? I think Moiraine kind of clocked that. She was like, you know what? She's gonna want to see.
And also, we did see Moiraine go off by herself to the desert as they were eating dinner. Was she having a little ponderosa with Lanfear?
So, okay, so that's what I'm also kind of wondering too, because when you go back to episode 4 and we see all of these visions, right, of Moraine's future. Now, we saw, hold on. Because one of those visions was what we saw when she visited Suan in her dream, right? In this little cabin situation. And then we got to the moment when she was doing something with Rand. Like, I know she like killed Rand a couple of times, and then there was one point she was sleeping. She was in the bed with Rand. I'm like, hold on, what's going on? But when we got to that kind of second part of her in the rings, it was the same vision over and over of Lanfear in the so
I don't know. I feel like it's what just happened. Just another. I'm kind of feeling like it's a Moiraine and Lanfear collab to again get them to all go their separate ways to do what they need to do to ultimately protect Rand.
Yeah. That's so interesting to see how they are collaborating, but Lanfear is the one in the vision that keeps killing Moiraine. So I'm like,
I feel like also we're seeing with Lanfear this trickle of thinking that she may be able to get out of the Dark One's grasp.
Yeah.
Because didn't she say to Rand the last time they were in the dream space together that it was something that she can do to break free from the Dark One with his help or something like that? It was like a fleeting thought, and then she let it go. She was like, yeah, but that's probably not going to happen. Yeah. So I feel like we're seeing Lanfear, I think more than anything, she just wants to be with Rand.
Yeah.
I think that's what she ultimately wants, and she'll do whatever she needs to do to try to make that happen.
Because we know that, I mean, she could have easily taken these people out like
a long time ago. Yeah.
But I think even just in the episode, she said, you know, she is attracted to the dark sides of him and the light. So I think that there's still like a little glimmer of like some type of hope in her that she is not all the way evil.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I have very mixed feelings about Lanfear.
I love her.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I secretly love her.
Yeah. I really love her.
Like, I know she's evil, but she also like comes through for them.
Yeah.
Well, for Rand.
Yeah.
Everything is for Rand.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything else for anyone other than him, but she comes through for him.
So I think the way that I kind of view her is like, so you know how like an anti-hero is like not really a hero, but they're not bad. I feel like she's like an anti-villain.
Exactly.
So where it's like she's definitely not good, but she's not. I mean, the other people that are like Moghedien and like the other Forsaken, they're against her.
Exactly.
So I'm like, she's kind of in the middle.
She is.
And I enjoy it.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So who are your like characters of note right now? Like who are you?
That's a good question. I think the first person that really comes to mind is Alanna.
Okay.
Because I'm so curious what's going on with her. Now that we know that she's not a black, I don't think she is a black Aja.
Right.
But now I'm kind of like, okay, where does she go from now?
Mm-hmm.
From moving forward, we know that she wants to cage Rand, and we know what Swen's mission is. So I want to see that face off happen.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna ultimately happen, and which one of them is gonna have control of the tower. I think one of them is gonna take over. Either Alida is gonna take over, or Swen will defend. So I'm thinking about Alida, and the number 2 person that I'm thinking about, I have to go back, Miss Verin. I got my eye on you, sis. I'm not convinced that you're on the right side of things anymore. I just, my suspicions about her are just like, they're a little sneaky right now.
Yeah.
And then if I had to do a number 3 person that's of note for me right now, Lanfear. I just the way the episode ended and the way that she kind of was taunting Egwene and has been taunting her, I'm just like, okay, Lanfear, what you got up your sleeve? And are you and Moiraine back at it again?
Right.
So what about you?
Okay, I think number 1 for me is probably going to be see, I was just thinking about my number 2 and number 3. One was, what did I just say? Okay, if I think of one, I'll come back to it. But number 2 in its unit is gonna be Maksim and Alanna. I was sad to see when she turned the bond off. I was like, dang, it's gonna be the end of them or whatever. So though they had to be near dead, which was not like, I mean, they kind of hit us to the core, right?
It really did.
It took that for them, I think, to shake back and come together. So I'm really curious to see how they're about to kind of pull forward. Nynaeve, for sure. I'm like, girl, I am so wanting her, especially after this little, and I know the moment on the sea, this was something really brief. It was just like a little passing kind of idea. But I hope that this idea is a seed that is planted in her head to think like, girl, let go, let go, let go. You are tense, you're tight, like let go. Relax.
All this power.
And I feel like if we can get her to really just like absorb that concept, I'm like, girl, you have all of this power. Like, I feel like she's gonna be one of the like key players to help with Leander and them.
Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine her at full power.
And Egwene.
With Egwene and Moiraine.
And Moiraine.
And Swen.
Mm-hmm. And Alanna. Get them arrows out of her.
Yeah, that's gonna be, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
To anyone facing off against them.
Yeah.
And Rand.
And then my actual number 1 was Moiraine.
Okay.
That was number 1. I couldn't remember, but it's Moiraine.
Okay.
Because I feel like now, her decisions now, I mean, I feel like her decisions before were always prioritizing Rand, right? But I still feel like she had like this kind of motherly, like aura with the kids, just in general. Like, it's what, 4 of them?
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now they picked up Elaine, so we got another look. That's the still child. Yeah. But I feel like, but after going through the rings, so seeing her, the future, and then I guess really just kind of understanding really how key Rand is in all of this, like she's kind of dropped these kids to the wayside.
Really has.
And I'm curious to see her decision making, especially with it being so like questionable. Like, we don't know what our girl has going on. So that's somebody that I got my eye on, because I'm like, ugh. I feel like if it boils down to it, she would not, and she stated it before, like, she would not, well, no, she did say that she would keep them protected, but I do think that she would, for the sake of Rand, expend any of their lives to make sure that he is able to do what he needs to do as a dragon.
Well, I mean, we saw it earlier this season when she first collaborated with Lanfear. Now they had an unexpected surprise toss in there. But I mean, she wasn't unopposed. She wasn't opposed
To harming
them, to scare them into doing what they needed to do.
Yeah. So that was my number one. I couldn't remember, but Moiraine is number one for me, because I'm like,
And now that you say Moiraine, I do have to have a quick chuckle moment, because throughout this episode, I can't keep reminding myself, Moiraine is rude. She is so rude. Like, they were like, Moiraine, would you like whatever they were having?
No, I'm done.
She said, no, I'm done.
She said, you can stay.
No, you stay.
You stay.
And then when she was dream walking, and Sue was like, it should have been you. And Moiraine was like, I make enemies too fast.
She said, there's no way they would have voted me on this season.
Baby, the people don't like Moiraine.
And Sue she couldn't do anything but laugh.
Because she know her girl is rude.
Absolutely. But I'm telling you, these episodes, I feel like, are getting better and better and better.
How many episodes do we have left? Three. So, wow. This season is going by really fast, y'all.
And now the thing so there's something else. I feel like we're going to have to get back to Leandrin.
Yes.
And then the Forsaken. Because, we're seeing their impact, right? But I'm like, we're just going to get in there. She saw something from the shadow, but we need the camera. We need the camera on our girl, because what is she doing?
What is she up to?
Yeah, what is she up
What's
to?
the game that she's playing that everyone else isn't?
Yeah, because she's playing a different game.
That's what she told him.
I don't know. They are going to, I feel like these last 3 episodes are about to be like
Action.
Yeah.
Because there's so much story to wrap up. I feel like they're each going to be epic.
Yeah. I agree. Well, guys, if we already know. A lot of you guys have read the books, so we know that, a lot of y'all are aware of, some of the things that are going on. But we are super grateful for, especially as we kind of process our thoughts, we're super grateful for a lot of you who are not exposing to us what's going to happen, but are kind of helping us gather our ideas and package them in a way to where it makes sense, right?
And giving us really good context and really good clues that help us think, but don't hear us tell us exactly what's happening.
Absolutely.
We're really, really appreciative. So thank y'all for engaging with us. And we're looking forward to episode 6, and we'll be back next week with our thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Yes. We are obviously encouraging comments, encouraging conversation in the comments. So please drop down below what you thought about episodes 4 and 5. If y'all were as confused as we were in episode 4, and also what you thought about episode 5 too.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to you next week.
Peace.